Yo. Let's do that. Swap them all down. Let's go back to Paul's tech news, huh? Person talking outside, your camera thinks you heard someone. Well, show me what you heard. Is the front of the house still on? Do I need to go out there and plug that bitch back in? Does I need to go outside? Front of the house still has battery. We're good. I'm gonna let it chill while I keep powering up what I'm powering up. Oh no, got a guy in a Wraith. Oh no.
If you've ever heard of
Introducing your champion.
This may be the last time you compete.
ever heard of the term golden sample, you might understand why this could be a concern, but at least for now there is no indication that review units performed any differently than retail versions. If they did, then my 4080 Super probably wouldn't have performed so anemically versus its non-super counterpart. The other big launch this week wasn't a GPU, but it sort of was too.
Copy that.
The AMD APU lineup now has AM5 options, with the Tuesday debut of the $330 Ryzen 7 8700G and the $230 Ryzen 5 8600G. They both have RDNA3 based iGPUs built in, making the 8700G the CPU with the fastest iGPU ever. It is roughly equivalent to winning your preschool's finger painting contest, for which AMD deserves.
We got a team with us.
However, the potential appeal for budget gamers out there was the prospect of
Pushed them away.
APU that could handle gaming decently well at 1080p, allowing for a future upgrade path to a discrete GPU option. Unfortunately, AMD only outfitted the top-end 8-core 8700G with the best iGPU though, the Radeon 780M with 12 compute units, while the 8600G got the 8CU760M. So for the $330 asking price of the 8700G, there are multiple CPU plus discrete GPU options that would provide 2 to 3 times the gaming performance. Simply pairing a budget CPU like an Intel 12100F or an AMD Ryzen 5600 or 7600 if you want to spend a little bit more for AM5, with a $150 to $250 range GPU like an Intel Arc A580, A750, or a Radeon RX 6600 is clearly a better option if gaming is your focus. There was also the small issue of stop 'em, as revealed by Gamers Nexus, causing these CPUs to throttle after 2 or 3 minutes of use, which AMD responded to and said they'll be fixing soon with a BIOS update. It wasn't working as intended. There's also some confusion about what the F-clock speed should be, so all told it was a rocky launch, and these APUs do not seem to be the entry-level go-to choice for budget gamers, as some were hoping they would be. The CPUs also lack PCIe Gen 5 support. The IGP performance is certainly a big leap from the 5000G APUs, but it's still notably slower than a GTX 1650. On the plus side though, the Zen 4C cores are extremely efficient, and for more niche use cases such as SFF builds that don't have room for a GPU or home theater PCs, there will likely be some interest. There's also the built-in XDNA neural processor.
Are you getting shot at?
That's AI-specific hardware that has seen little testing in the reviews that have come out so far, but could be an added value for some users. And these APUs seem to really like fast DDR5 speeds, which contribute to better gaming and compute performance, so I'm sure we will see some unique implementations as units hit the mass market. It's just a bit disappointing that they're likely not the best fit for budget gamers. Speaking of things that don't fit well, if you're experiencing any discomfort or binding in your nether regions, perhaps it's time to slip into a fresh new pair of tech briefs, where today we will be looking into the future to see what 2024 has in store for us. And the answer is even more AI. AMD is keen to hop on the AI hardware gravy train that has thus far mostly been delivering container-sized loads of cash to NVIDIA, and it sounds like they have found some buyers. $3.5 billion in pre-orders have been tallied so far for AMD's MI300 series AI GPUs, which are supposedly comparable in performance to NVIDIA's H100 option, while costing $10,000 to $15,000 per unit versus $20,000 to $30,000 for NVIDIA's. NVIDIA AI GPUs also have a 52-week wait time right now, also known as a year to some of us, so you can see why AMD has so many takers for their new product, and they'll need to sell a lot of them to elbow in on NVIDIA's current data center GPU market share, which right now is at 98%. It would certainly be nice for NVIDIA if they had more AI GPUs to sell, but supply constraints are tough, and TSMC is at capacity. So Team Green might just have to make a deal with the devil and team up with Intel for chip packaging.
Devil,
TSMC would still be producing NVIDIA's chips and handling 90% of the packaging, but if this money.udn.com rumor is true, NVIDIA might be shipping 5,000 wafers per month to Intel's foundry services, where they'll use Intel's Foveros technology to mount the chips to silicon interposers in order to complete the packaging stage of the manufacturing process, which could further extend NVIDIA's lead in the AI arms race, allowing us to generate even hotter hot dogs than ever before.
I'll
Moving on to
craft you,
storage,
bro.
because you need
Actually,
to
let me go
save
back
those
here.
hot
I'll
dog
craft you back
images
there.
somewhere. We have a report from Samsung about their next generation V9 QLC flash, a 280-layer design that increases data density by 50% over the previous best option. V9 QLC also has a maximum transfer rate of 3.2 gigabits per second, so it's not trading density for speed either. Products based on this technology are expected to debut later this year with good potential for 8TB single-sided M.2 drives or double-sided SSDs that go up to 16 terabytes in capacity. Also coming later this year, new CPUs from AMD featuring the Zen 5 architecture, which AMD confirmed are on track for the second half 2024 launch in an earnings call on Tuesday. Unfortunately, it wasn't clarified if they mean mobile Strix Point CPUs or desktop Granite Ridge CPUs, but
You want me to get you up or you want me to move through?
I am currently anticipating a June announcement at Computex, followed by a launch in July for sticking to the second half promise. And it's looking like there won't be.
Do you want me to get you up here or you want me to move through?
CPUs available immediately. Those
Hello,
could come later
hello,
in the year,
hello.
possibly not until CES 2025.
Hello,
if
hello.
Twitter leaker Kepler_L2 is sharing accurate information. I also heard that AMD might skip calling them the 8000 series.
No answer, you're getting up here then, buddy.
Series, which would at least provide some distinction versus those 8000G APUs that just launched. So if anyone asks you about your next PC upgrade, tell them you're holding out for the 9950X3D in 2025. Or I guess the foundational X3D if you're mainly focused on games. Lastly, if you thought the Q1 2024 launches were ending with the debut of the RTX 4080 Super, here's a reminder that AMD also promised us new CPUs for the last.
I'm getting up and over and out away from that shit.
Store shelves. While reviews are limited as of yet, the $250 5700X3D can now be purchased, and VideoCardMovie.com was able to pull some initial benchmarks from Bilibili.com. It seems to be outperforming the 13600KF by a decent margin in some titles, while performing similarly in others, although I can't read Chinese, so I'm not sure what these games are. Looks like Pow World 2077 and possibly Bubble Bobble 5 were used, although it's the big lead in Cities Skylines Global.
No, I can heal you. I can heal you. Don't use that. Don't use that. Get to me.
But there you have it, guys. Tech news for the week. And if you liked it, click that like button or leave me a comment down below. While you're down there, all the articles I talked about today are linked in the description if you're interested, and you can also check out my store at paulshardware.net for high-quality merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, beer sets, mugs, and more. Subscribing to my channel is always a good call, too. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Pick whatever you want. I don't need any of that shit. But we're gonna go up into a fight right here, so get ready if you're gonna do this.
This is a 2014 AX100, and this is a 2017 AX700. Newer does not.
Grab whatever comes out of this.
I just made that video about 1-inch cameras, and I thought I'd throw this in there real quick because I've talked about these before. These are 1-inch camcorders, really high-end from Sony, but still within the consumer range. The AX700 and the Z90B, I've mentioned those. I don't like the color. The color isn't that great, but I like them because they have really good, the most dependable eye autofocus of anything that I have. You turn it on.
Let's go up. Let's go up and go around.
Eye, no matter where you are in the shot, it follows you around. You're always in focus. good exposure and everything. So these are for the dependability.
Nope,
where you
quiet,
don't
there's
have
people
to
here.
Think about, is it in focus or not?
Quiet.
You know, so that's good. The colors
Less than
suck.
30
I don't like the
seconds.
colors on
Rings
these.
nearby.
So I got really curious. I said, you know, there was the earlier version of this was the AX100. So I got one just to see what it was like. 1-inch sensor, same features. It's just like the early version of it. It's more pared down. It's more simple. I got it. And I instantly fell in love with it, which is why I'm making this video. Look how small this thing is. This is a normal consumer size.
Yep, you want to go down to the left or you want to go up to them?
It's not big and heavy, over bloated, professional try to looking thing. Look at the difference between the 700 and the 100. This is a small camcorder and I love the size of this. This has got the extra bulk on the side here, and this looks so beefed up and everything. It's just, I don't like big things. I like little things that don't bring a lot of attention to themselves. This is perfect. It's pared down. It's the minimum. Doesn't have a fancy handle on top. It doesn't use XLRs. It's only got one power slot. Well, let me get into that for a second here for you. Because I know there's people out there who go, I would never get a camera unless it has 2 card slots. Let me tell you something there. Back in the days when I was making a real Hollywood movie and with real film, I learned something as a young lad, and that is to be very frugal with when you push the record button, because back then, film was expensive. Right? Things like thousands of dollars just to get a roll of film. And that was just for the dailies. Then once you edit the film, then you have to make an inner negative, which costs money, and then you have to get the final date, which costs money too. Everything is developing film, which costs a lot of money. And when you're a student or a young person or a person who's just starting out in the film business, and you got to buy new things, you get what's called short ends. Those are where the big Hollywood productions, at the end of the day, they have some pieces of film left over, and they put them in film cans, and they resell them at a discount. You can get them at the film places, and that's what people like me were making movies off of, was what's called short ends, and that is they're just little short ends of film that was left over from the big movie. So you only put them in there, and you only have like a few minutes of film before the thing runs out. So you learn very early on to only push record right as you're ready to get going, and you say your stuff and you push off, and you learn to be very frugal, and you plan ahead with what you're doing so you don't waste film. Nowadays, people just push record on their cameras and then they just let it run all day, you know, and then they don't even think about it. And then they go in their computers, and the computers are overloading with these giant files that bog down, and you're sitting there for hours and hours having to go through all this boring footage. Well, learn to be frugal, to only push record when you have to. Learn what you're going to do before you push record. You know, that's what planning is for.
This is a twin.
This place is something else. Let's go.
I've seen it all. Nothing surprises me.
Introducing your champion.
This is good. This is good. Let's fight. Hey, come back if you're ever looking for a Mirage à Trois. That's where you fight 3 of me at once.
I'm the jump master. AJ Shea, leading the
Are your
way.
friends nearby? I can't wait to make their acquaintance.
Sorry, did I confuse you?
And being smart and having it all like chiseled down to the bare things of what you want to say. The video that you're going to put up, if you're on YouTube, you know, the video shouldn't be more than 5 or 10 minutes anyway. So why are you shooting 4 hours of film? It just and I know there's long interviews, I know there's reasons why some people have to do it, but most people, you don't need to shoot all that film. I have never, ever needed more than 1 card slot, ever. For anything I've ever done, that was more than enough because I plan. I know what I want and I get it done and I'm very efficient with it. So this is not an issue with me. I got to rant on some things once in a while, and there's people who say, I will never get a camera unless there's 2 card slots. Well, that's not me. I am doing really well with just 1 card slot. Okay, it has a nice viewfinder in the back here. It has a hot shoe, so you can put a Sony audio in there. And by the way, these things also take still pictures with these camcorders. They even have a photo button on the back. You can get some good stuff with this. Oh, camcorders are not just for taking video. All right, so what else? It's got ND filters on the back, got 3 different positions of ND, it's got the auto manual, it's got the rocker switch for the really smooth zoom, it's got the iris, gain, and shutter speed button on the front here, it's got the white balance and everything, but the most important thing that I love about this is the color. Look at this. Here's the color with the AX100. It is just beautiful. It looks like skin tones. Now look at the color of the AX700. Yuck! That's because they introduced high dynamic range with these cameras and it started muddying up the colors. So they were sacrificing good color for dynamic range. And then here's the Z90V. It's a little better, but it still looks muddy and like just not as nice. The colors are just nowhere near as nice. I don't need super big high dynamic range because I know how to light things properly. I know how to expose properly. I don't just shoot willy-nilly and then just figure out I'm just going to fix it later on. I'm just going to not care about my lighting and stuff. Get it right in the first place, shoot it right, and you get great stuff right out of the camera. You don't have to do post work, you don't have to do color grading, it's just done. You look great. And that is my philosophy, is get it right in the first place, don't try to fix it all later on. So I love this camera. For me and what I do, this camera is more than good enough for me. So I'm going to give this one away, the AX700 at marcuspicks.giveawayender.com. There, I just said it. I hit it in the video, so those people who are fast forwarding through the video.
There's someone there on you, bro.
See it? Okay, back to the AX100. The autofocus is not that great. It does not have eye autofocus, but it has face recognition. The best way to make this thing dependable is if you have obviously good lighting and you don't have your face in the dark, muddy shadows, and put it in portrait mode so it knows to look for a face. It's not as lightning fast and great as these, but it's good enough for what I'm doing. I don't move around that fast in the picture, and like I said, I try to have good lighting anyway. We're back to that. I said, how many times in this video have I said make sure you have good lighting and expose it right and know when to shoot and what to shoot and when to push record? Most people, they don't think about that stuff. They don't go think about the lighting, they don't think about what's going to be said, they just push record and hope it's going to be good, and then they try to fix it. They spend hours and hours trying to fix it later on in post. You know, get it right in the first place. All right. Boy, I sure like to rant, huh? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I will now continue to get on with my life. So I will see you in the next video. That's it. Bye.
What is up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about some cool stuff that I hope you all enjoy. We're talking about the Fortnite era. Remember Fortnite, the game that blew up years ago, and we were all of a sudden playing that game with all of our homies, and some of the homies that never even played video games before were asking you to play Fortnite? That's what we're talking about today, but also Optic having people potentially that I never knew about. Really quick shouts to the Thunderpick guys, our esports betting sponsor. They will always be down below. Please bet responsibly, 21 plus only. But some big bets that never were placed by Optic, but 1 and 2 by Hex, as revealed in a recent podcast with Pine Park. They do amazing stuff. Go check them out. That Optic Gaming had the opportunity to, and Hex wanted, to sign Myth and Ninja around the time of peak Fortnite. Can you imagine?
Because it led to the Fortnite era,
right before Fortnite,
and then the Ninja effect happened, and it's like it just elevated everything.
That's what Ninja was on Ace was because it's
early Fortnite, the first couple seasons, you just shoot. Yeah, what just?
That's a fucking that's forever iconic.
Yeah, that's a good dude.
Fucking hilarious, bro. Motherfucker's a legend, dude.
Did you guys play like early Fortnite?
Yeah. You remember when you could shoot your teammates? Fortnite, when it first came out, was the greatest thing.
Yeah, everyone.
Greatest thing.
There was a little kid on the team. It was like a Twilight.
Fun.
Like everyone was playing.
So much fun playing with friends. Like so much fun.
Did you ever have a Optic Fortnite team?
We did. We did. Not. It wasn't my. It wasn't under me. It was under.
Oh, okay, got you.
Because when they got in, it was already. The Ninja thing had already happened.
Oh.
And at the time, me and the guy that was there didn't get along. I'm not talking about Jay either. I'm talking about the main guy. He and I didn't get along, and I told him, I'm like, yo, we should get into Fortnite now. We should pick up this kid, Myth, Ninja, and then some other guy. And we could have because Ninja at the time was getting paid.
Can you imagine? Optic Ninja, Optic Myth?
But I mean, the conversation never went anywhere.
He like carried TSM for a minute.
Myth was fucking.
He's that guy.
Bro, the archetype, the original archetype.
Right. Yeah.
And I love these kind of videos because this is very interesting for all those people that were around then, and you can very much dissect and remember the things that went on back then. If you guys do not know, Myth eventually went to TSM and blew them out of the water. Daquan and Hamlin's eventually joining that. It is the biggest trio in Fortnite history, and Myth, for a lot of people, one of your Mount Rushmores of Fortnite, becoming one of the pinnacles. Same could be said for Ninja, who a lot of that time was with Luminosity Gaming, even though a lot of people didn't realize he was with LG. But to think that either of them could have been with Optic, that would have been insane. But you also got to remember, one of the people that Optic did sign that eventually blew up, and even he will jokingly say on the coattails of Ninja, was Courage JD. He was with Optic. Does anyone remember that? It was a short period of time, and then he started blowing up, and rightfully so, he had to seek bigger opportunities because he outgrew Optic very fast at a time where Fortnite allowed people to just balloon. I mean, to an unimaginable degree.
He was the man.
But I will say about Fortnite is that I'll always be thankful to it because imagine knowing somebody who was your basketball teammate, you know, for your literal best friend, right? And you get to all of a sudden, you know, you become who I became, which is a video game player that does this. Obviously, my job varies now, but someone who started out playing video games. That was the first time that I ever played a video game with my friends. Like my friends were my day fucking ones.
Yeah,
I'm like, when I heard that they were playing, I'm like, oh, I don't play. I wasn't intending on playing Fortnite or whatever. I love the sniping or watching it, but I wasn't no intention. But then I'm like, you know, I'm gonna play with boys.
And then very quickly after, at least it felt very quickly after, he was like, yeah, I gotta pursue this. Time for Optic content when I'm becoming a multi-millionaire practically overnight with Fortnite. Then eventually joins the bigger organization at the time. That was definitely more of a viral organization that a lot of big creators were joining, which was 100 Thieves. So I love these talking points because I remember back to covering these stories 5 years ago, and it's funny to see them come full circle. And then for Hex to say, hey, like, we wanted Myth and Ninja, but like it was with Infinite who took over Optic at the time, so they didn't heed his advice. And Ninja goes on to do his thing, and Myth goes on to do his thing. And so we're just left wondering what could have been. And we're also left wondering what a great game Fortnite was. Like, bringing us all back with our homies at some point. And for me, really sparking a lot of my homies getting into video games that I now can just play with from around the world. Like, I feel like a lot of my homies were playing maybe Call of Duty, but busy doing their work lives. And then a game like Fortnite comes out, and they're like, hey, I'm going to get a PC. I'm going to get a console and game with my buds now on different titles. So I will always have that
Why are you running ahead of me?
For Fortnite. What do you guys think? And there's just so many times like that. There's so many signings out there that never happen. I know I'm going full nerd right now, but I remember covering a story where like FaZe Clan wanted Hex at one point. FaZe Clan wanted Nadeshot at one point. So what signings do you guys think could have happened, or maybe could have, and then never actually ended?
You're not surprising. Why did you go out there without me?
I'm gonna go now. We'll see you back here sometime soon. Okay. Bye.
Sitting on one side and also was on the other. They were yelling at Nahas saying, we will return the car when we feel like it. Got into the driver's seat, and the other male got into the front passenger seat, drove off, and Nahas was left on the side of the road. One of them put a jumper over my head and forced me to lean down forward. I don't know which one it was. Whilst my head was down, I was repeatedly smashed in the face and head. I immediately felt severe pain in my head. The car drove for about 15 minutes. I was assaulted the whole time whilst the car was moving. I do not know who was assaulting me as my head was covered. I felt the car pull into the driveway. Moments later, the car stopped and I heard all four doors open. One of the males said, "Shut up, don't say a word, put your head down." Someone tried to pull me out of the right-hand side of the car. I hung onto the center console. I didn't want to get out. I eventually turned my body and tried to get out. I put my right leg out the door. When I put my left leg out, I felt someone grab it and twist my left foot inwards. This was extremely painful, and I thought my leg was going to break. As they were twisting my leg, I turned onto my stomach and crawled out of the car. Keep in mind, these are just details from Stephen's second statement. In his first, he details being stabbed in the car, but we'll continue. I ended up lying face down on what I believe was a concrete driveway. The concrete was light grey colour. It looked like old concrete. One male said, "Get up, get up." I did, and they walked me into the garage. My head was still down and covered. I could only see the ground. Stephen's statement then alleges that he's repeatedly assaulted and then threatened and held against his will in this garage. I could slightly see through a gap. Olsen in front of me, he punched me in the face, and I immediately put my hands up in defense. He said, "Put your hands down." I put them down. Olsen swung again and punched in the face, and I put my hands up. I remember he was breathing heavy. I then started to be repeatedly assaulted again by Olsen, only now he was using a 4x2 wooden plank. It was painted a very light grey, blue colour. He was hitting to my face and arms. During this time, I saw Charlie D. He was with Tony, and Olsen was still in the garage. I know Charlie D through work when I was in security. He caused a problem at one of the clubs I was working at in 2007. Tony, Charlie, and Olsen had a conversation. I heard one of them say, "What are we going to do with him?" I heard Charlie say, "Just cut him up and chuck him in the river." Everyone left me for a short time in the garage alone. Moments later, Olsen came back and tied my hands and feet with cable ties and then gaffer tape taped around the ties. Olsen then punched me in the right eye. I knew I was bleeding because I felt blood run down my face. He then punched me in the left eye and I felt immediate pain. I saw scars. He left me sitting on the ground, now with my hands and feet tied, and the cover was now off my head. I think it just fell off. Olsen turned the light out, walked out of the garage and pulled down the roller door. I heard a padlock lock on the outside. Sometime later, the roller door opened and
30 seconds till class.
he was alone, was carrying a bottle of water, came over to me and helped me have a drink. As my hands were tied, I could not hold the bottle, so he held it to my mouth and tipped water in. I could see the bottle was the DG brand, it was rectangular. It was clear and the water inside was ice cold like it was straight out of the fridge. I was carrying a torch or something, so he did not turn the light on. He said, "Are you alright?" I said, "No, I'm fine." Left the bottle beside me in the garage and left, closing the roller door again behind me. Sometime later, approximately half an hour, the roller door opened and Olsen and Charlie walked in. They turned the light on. One of them said, "Get up, get up." They helped me to my feet and set me on a chair. The same chair I described in my other statement. They tied my body to the chair. My arms were also tied to the back of the chair around my elbows. My hands were left cable tied and gaffer taped. However, they cut my feet and re-cable tied them to the legs of the chair. They left the garage, turning off the light and closing the garage door again. My version from here is exactly as I stated in my original statement. However, at some stage, I believe it was the following day, Tony K came into the garage with his cousin. I know of Tony's cousin who working in clubs, and Cass is also mentioned him. I've seen him before, however, never spoken with him. Charlie D was with him. They were in the garage with me for about 20 minutes, and during this time, Tony K stood on my face and continually told me, "Don't look up." The other two were saying stuff, but I don't remember what they were saying. At one stage, I was lying on my side and Tony was standing on my face. Tony said, "Go and get the bolt cutters. We're going to cut your toes off and send them to your mum." I screamed, "No, no, no, no," and I started kicking and moving. Tony K said, "Okay, we won't do that. We will cut your finger off and send it to your mum. You won't bleed though, because we will burn the metal and hold it where we cut your finger off and it will stop the bleeding." Tony K then said, "Look up." I could see he was holding a piece of sponge. It was like greeny colour and it looked like an underlay. He said, "Put this in your mouth so you don't scream when we cut your finger off." I could see Tony K was holding a pair of garden shears and had them open around my left thumb. I thought he was going to cut my left thumb off. He just stopped and let me go. Tony K then said, "You have two options. You can either let me shoot you in both of your knees and we'll drop you off at the hospital and let you go, or you can think of who is going to come up with $50,000 for us." I said, "I don't know who's going to have that kind of money, mate, and I don't have my phone and can't go through it." Tony K said, "Well, think of someone and I'll leave you here for a few hours. You are a waste of time, and having you here is a risk because people will start to know." Stephen's first statement then details multiple phone calls between him and his mother in a desperate attempt to raise the $50K. Seemingly after these fail, one of these men gets spooked and releases Stephen, but only after he spends the night locked up in the garage. In his first statement, Stephen, like he did with Tony, refuses to identify this man, but his second statement reads as follows. Was the person who took me home. There was no one else there that day. The reason I got this part of my version when I first made my statement was because I'm extremely scared of these people. During the time they held me, they repeatedly told me that if I told police, or anyone went to the police, that I'd be killed. No one would ever find me, and they would do the same to my family. What they did to me, they had people on standby to do it. From this experience, I believed this to be true. I truly
You and me, let's take this win.
This is my favorite part.
What would your mother say? Keeping bad company like me.
Truly think that they would hurt or kill me and my family. They already hurt me so badly I thought I was going to die, and this is why I am truly fearful for my life and my family. I am so scared that they will do more bad. They know where my family lives. Since the incident, I have been in hiding because I'm scared they will come and kill me. After being released by Stephen goes to his parents' house, then immediately to the hospital where he's treated for broken left eye socket, head trauma, severe bruising to face and eyes, stab wound to the left side of his chest, cut to his right eyebrow, severe bruising to both his arms, constant headache, chipped front lower teeth, severe swelling to face, eyes, neck, and arms. But the ordeal apparently isn't over for Stevens. Police allege that whilst he was being treated in hospital, a group of men came looking for him. The police statement reads, employee with Westmead Hospital, and staff is Tony Patrick, and another man separately in the emergency reception at Westmead Hospital. CCTV footage obtained from the hospital depicts Guard Tony in the foyer of the emergency ward. At one point, all three meet up and sit in a group on provided chairs. At various points, the scene to approach the reception desk. On one occasion, Tony was present at the reception desk with him. CCTV depicts Guard gaining access to the door while Stephen's mother was in the door, waving at him, playing, who had been taken for a CT scan. She indicates that the male matching the description of Guard walked down and seemed to be looking into each separate bed area. He looked like he was trying to find someone. She heard him speak to a nurse and say, "That guy that has been boarding and was bashed for the last 2 days, can you tell me what his first name is?" She reports that the nurse said surname, and the response was no first name. The nurse said, "You'll have to go to the front desk." Stephen's mother reports that the nurse told her that there would be an inquiry of the son. Stephen's mother asked her to find out their name and who they claimed to be. She indicated that a short time later, one of the administration spoke to her and indicated that there had been a man saying his name was and he was Stephen's brother. The complainant was made anonymous for hospital services. There's one on the 18th table and the other.
Well, I gave you enough time to get the fuck away, but no.
The 9th of May, Stephen told Andy Nahas the following: "You had nothing to do with it. I told her I'd seen you before I was going to my mum's house, and then I drove off, and then stopped to make a call, then I got bashed and robbed. And when I was in hospital, they thought I was a bikie and everything. I'm not. I just told them I got bashed and robbed, bro. I didn't mean to put you in. I told them it had nothing to do with you. I just seen you quickly before it happened. That's it. I was full in hospital on morphine, and I had 3 detectives screaming at me, bro. I gave them the biggest blow-ass story, man. I'm sorry that they
Christina233 says, they are coming after you.
Lawfully intercepted telephone communications, recorded extensive phone conversations / SMS messages between Andy Nahas and Stephen Toy in relation to the kidnapping. Further conversations / SMS contact was then had between Andy Nahas and Tony Kay. On one occasion, 9th of May 2009, during an exchange of a number of SMS messages between Andy Nahas and Stephen Toy about the offence, Stephen Toy indicated that he is interstate. Andy Nahas called Tony Kay and relayed from the SMS messages. During this call, Andy Nahas refers to Stephen Toy as that bitch and that girl. He also tells Tony Kay he reckons he is interstate. Tony Kay says, "Where's interstate?" Andy Nahas says words to the effect of, "I don't know, we're going on a holiday, cuz." Tony Kay says, "Alright, bye." Conversations have also been intercepted between Andy Nahas. 3 days later, on the 12th of May, about 20 heavily armed police raid the homes of Tony Kay and 3 other suspects, arresting and charging Tony Kay, Andy Nahas, and Olsen with kidnapping offences. I believe all were denied bail apart from Andy Nahas, who was released on a $25,000 bond paid for by his brother Joe Nahas. Along with the bond, Andy's bail conditions included report daily to police at Merrylands, surrender passport to register at
Get to the zip line.
Do not apply for any travel docs or approach any points of departure from Australia. Not approach or contact any co-offenders.
Get to the zip line or to the left.
And a non-association order with any members of the B&B Motorcycle Club. On the face of it, this ordeal appears to be a pretty slam dunk case for the
Scrappy DP says, over to the left tower.
Footage, but what happens just a month later appears to derail the entire
Scrappy
case.
DP says, to your right.
In 2009, the police received a letter from Stephen Toy's lawyer advising them that Stephen no longer wished to be a witness. It reads as follows: "Dear Detective Sergeant Cruz, bring Stephen Toy. We've been instructed to advise, represent Mr. Toy in relation to
Scrappy DP says, place that at the highest level NXT time.
Gang squad. We understand the police spoke to our client on or about the 17th of April when our client was a patient at Westmead Hospital. Certain allegations were apparently made by our client at that time, although at that time we understand no person was identified by. We were also instructed that on a subsequent occasion our client was spoken to at a police station.
Christina233 says, chill mate.
Provided by our client to police in which persons were apparently named by him. We are instructed that our client has serious reservations concerning the accuracy of the information he provided to police. He instructs us that he is uncertain about the accuracy of allegations
Scrappy
made,
DP says,
particularly as he
I'm
was
cold.
under a regime of medication on both occasions following prescription by hospital medical staff.
Christina233 says, Maggie, you got this.
Antibiotics. Our client is not able to provide details or precise details of the medication, but no doubt the hospital records would confirm
Scrappy
the
DP
details
says,
necessary.
go Maggie,
Our client
go.
instructs us that he does not wish to pursue any allegations he may have made, nor does he wish to participate in any other interview by police, nor does he wish to become embroiled in any criminal prosecution as a witness. Our client wishes to resume his normal
Scrappy
day-to-day
DP
life
says, she a devil.
pressure inherent in criminal proceedings over which he has no control, and in which allegations he has made, which are unreliable to say the least, given his previous medical condition, will be relied upon to prosecute other people. In these circumstances, our client has instructed us that he does not wish to be approached.
Scrappy DP says, Maggie getting risky.
Subject to any advice provided will not agree to publish direct. We look forward to receiving a confirmation that police will respect the wishes of our client. Yours faithfully, Chris Watson.
Scrappy DP says, Maggie a bad. Christina233 says, let's go.
Their medication he was taking or prescribed would not have caused him to give inaccurate information to police or be uncertain of events which are described in Mr. Toy's statement. However, he was allegedly kidnapped and assaulted, which would be expected to have a traumatizing effect and may affect women. Various legal skirmishes ensue over the following months. In December 2009, Andy Cass's lawyers flagged their intention to cross-examine Stephen Toy. Keeping in mind, this is months after Stephen's lawyer had stated to the police that Stephen no longer wished to be a witness. The Department of Public Prosecution agreed to cross-examination, yet there's a question as to if the hearing will even happen, as the key witness is not supporting the prosecutions. Then there are very little documents we've managed to view really until August and September of 2010. The most interesting one is this one, the 6th of September 2010.
Scrappy DP says, Forrest Gump in the house.
That is the following statement. Between the 2nd of August and 6th of September 2010, I made numerous attempts to locate Stephen Toy, including attending his
Scrappy
last known
DP says,
premises.
I'll be your
Every time I
Jenny.
attended these premises, no persons were home. On the 6th of August 2010, I attended the last known address for Toy's solicitor. No persons were at this address. I then contacted the mobile telephone number for the service. No person answered. And there was no message service for a message to be left. Then got in contact with his friend Kenny.
Scrappy DP says, are you guys from the UK or AUSTRAILIA?
And no longer had his contact details. Buchanan was going to try and get his details from a friend of Toy who still was in contact with Buchanan. From this date, I've been unable to get in contact with Buchanan. The mobile telephone rings out and there's no message service. On Monday the 30th of August, I spoke with the source who stated that Toy was
Christina233 says, me us.
even if he was issued
Scrappy DP says, long run to go. Scrappy DP says,
before attending the evidence as a witness. Inquiries related to the records and tax records for both and the evidence from local
Scrappy DP says, GT. Christina233 says, GG.
You know, the one that police also couldn't contact. He had a professional misconduct finding held against him in 2019 for various reasons, including misleading the court. And the same day this statement was made by the police, the charges against Andy Nahas are dismissed. I believe it's the same for his co-accused. But it gets better for Andy and co, as not only are the charges dropped, the Department of Public Prosecutions pays for their legal costs. Andy gets over 30k. Oh, but Andy was lucky already because according to documents viewed by Brendan Geordies, Nahas Constructions, the firm run by his family, was already paying his legal costs. That might explain why they were using Doyle's Construction Lawyers in a serious criminal matter. What a story as it is. An alleged violent kidnapping, police raids, phone taps, a witness seemingly disappearing. It's like the end of season 1 of The Wire. But to get to the real heart of this story, you have to see what the accused got up to in the 12 years following this ordeal. Tony K, up until recently, ran a construction business creatively titled K Constructions. He remained squarely in the eye line of cops in the years after the kidnapping charges, chiefly for an unsolved 2009 murder, an alleged murder that took place just months before the alleged kidnapping.
We'll catch back up with you. We got 15 minutes to go, Joe. Some stuff around. Cool. Now we're back to this. Let's see what.
When I was a kid, they had a special room in school for kids like me who wanted to learn about computers. But then suddenly, poof, out goes the computer lab.
In the computer
and
lab?
comes these things. Google's partners have sold 100 million Chromebooks in the last 3 years. 100
Yeah,
million.
get them stuck on Chrome in the beginning, and then when they grow up, they'll use Chrome.
Purchased by schools or by parents who were forced to buy them by schools. But they not just be schools and computers.
It's better.
Think of it. With that many of the
I realized that another OS might be better.
right now, you better get used to it. Because Google has made their Linux-based OS so polished over the years, these students are growing up with an experience that may just be good enough for them to not think of this as a Chromebook, but just as their laptop. 2020 something? Finally, be the
Depending
year
on what
of the
they
Linux
need to
desktop,
do.
But dressed in a Chrome costume? I believe it will, which is probably horrifying to just about everyone. So, let me explain after a quick word from our sponsor. Build Redux. They build fully customizable gaming PCs suitable for any budget. Pick your favorite games and see how they perform using their online PC builder. It's simple. Head to the link below and create your new rig today. Chromebooks are originally launched with miserable specs. I mean, even iPhones have more storage space. Not to mention useful apps you might fill it with. And given their limited functionality, not to mention their short commitment to software updates, like their Windows or Mac OS machine, it's no wonder that people saw the first Chromebooks for what they were, underpowered junk. But Google's been playing a long game, something that Softpedia recognized way back in 2015 when they said, Microsoft is engaged in a silent war against the user. Just 4 years after being introduced, Chromebooks are slowly eating up market share. Not at home, but in schools, which, I mean, makes sense. Most schools, especially at the college level, only really need email, a web browser, and the Google Productivity Suite. And getting the schools on board was easy due to the cost. The cheapest iMac, which is what many schools used to have in their computer labs, is over $1,200 now. So, let me see. I can have 30 of these, and they don't even move, or I can have 150 of these.
Using grapple.
Tough call. Google also helped the schools manage these enormous fleets of machines by investing heavily in administrative tools for the Google Workspace environment. Account management, shared access to files and storage, support for group collaboration, these have all made it easy to adopt the Google ecosystem. And that's even ignoring general ease of use and convenient customization. So, in this way, Google's kind of the pusher, giving kids their first hit, hooking them while they're young. If you think about it, do you know anyone who buys an iPhone just because they already have an iPhone and they just need a new one? Familiarity. Hey, come on,
Where did Maggie go, Christina?
I'm taking shots. The supposed long game, if Chromebooks are still underpowered, even still. Explain. Google recognized that problem, and this is the fix. Chromebook Plus promises a new minimum standard for Chromebook devices, delivering improved performance, powerful included software, and longer support, up to 10 years, all while targeting a $400 starting price. This unit from Acer is right around that baseline of Chromebook Plus. It has a 1080p 15-inch display, a Core i3 12th Gen processor, 8 GB of DDR5 RAM, and 128 GB of storage. And we saw this thing for as cheap as $270 at Best Buy. Now, there are entry-level Windows machines around that same price, or in some cases even lower. But they make awful compromises on everything from performance to display, while also running a heavier operating system. And by the time you're looking at something running Windows, with a display, you'll be paying $50 to $100 more for that.
Get the fuck out of there if you can.
And what's not heavy, has no license fee, Linux, which has always been the beating heart of Chrome OS. Just now, it's a lot easier to unleash. These days, literally one checkbox to enable a Linux terminal and to start downloading Linux native software, like Blender. Just a simple command and Blender's installed. It only takes about 30 minutes to run with BMW sitting at around 50 minutes, so it's not the fastest thing in the world. But guys, if this was a Windows machine at this price and these specs, you'd be very impressed. For about $250, this is very usable for day-to-day tasks, and in a pinch, as we've shown, you can even do some light, real work on it. And it's not just Blender. Kden Live is a video editor that works on here, as well as Audacity, which is a powerful open-source audio capture and editing program. The list of native Linux applications really is long and continues to grow, with the help of the open source community, and of course, some corporate players who played a role as well, with a huge driving force behind the recent gaming license of Linux being Valve, who has dumped significant resources into the Proton compatibility layer, allowing tons of non-native Windows games to be played on Linux, and, as of quite recently, goes away, even Chrome OS. Time for some distractions from my studies. Let's get into the start. Look, I didn't say it was fast. Very slow with screen capture running. This could be a problem. I will try. Yeah, you won't be kickstarting your Twitch streaming career with this setup, I'm afraid. Ooh. Yeah. I'm gonna stop. Alright, yeah, this will work.
Christina233 says, THX.
Try plugging it in. No one's busy. I don't know more of a program implementation. Let's try something that I know well. Alright, more like it. Let's try this. Confines of the hardware. You can use Proton DB to show what games are natively supported, or you can use Steam Link to remote into a different computer or a cloud-based computer. It's all pretty cool, right? I mean, when I was a kid, I would have loved to be able to play even simple games and have an affordable device that I could call my own. And even the camera is reasonably decent, so is the microphone, and I didn't have anything too negative to say about the keyboard. Consider the price. Now, you might still...
This is crazy. How the hell are we even alive?
It's not like I'm going to be switching to Chrome OS to my daily driver anytime soon. But how many people do you know who basically use their computer to call man on the weekends or pull up a recipe? You might not agree with me. Mark my words. Acceptance for cloud applications, even heavy ones, 3D modeling, animation tools, and video editing, at all-time high, and Chrome OS will work its way into the market as a daily driver operating system for many people after they leave school and join the workplace, where the onboarding process could be as simple as adding their work account to their Chromebook that they already own. Not be this year, and it might not be next year. And it means that the year of the Linux desktop may move beyond meme status. What will never move beyond meme status is this segment. Our sponsor, Red Magic. They recently released their new flagship gaming phone, the 9 Pro, specifically engineered to strike fear into the hearts of the enemy team. With the brand new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, their ICE 13 cooling system, and a 6,500 mAh dual battery, it can handle even the most demanding games for extended periods of time. Plus, with 80-watt fast charging, you can get back into the game faster because, let's face it, is your team going to succeed without you? I didn't think so. The sleek design features a seamless rear with no camera bump to dig into your knuckles, while the 6.8-inch Full HD Plus flat display delivers immersive visuals. Its 520Hz shoulder triggers mean your games respond faster to every press, so you will shoot first, just like Han Solo did before 1997. And their GameSpace software gives you access to great features like customizable controls for each game, external gamepad management, a plugin library, and even putting pictures and notifications on the game. So check out the Red Magic 9 Pro at the link below and get gaming today. If you guys enjoyed this video, go check out the one where I went and bought my son a Chromebook, or excuse me, a laptop. Home-based holding device, what's the term? Either way, they've definitely improved since then. See that together.
What is up, peeps? Welcome back to the channel. We got a lot of Counter-Strike news out there to see. Each and every week we break down kind of a recap of all the CS news brought to you by Thundercake, our esports betting sponsor. They will be down below. Please bet responsibly. 21 plus only. A lot of huge stories out there in CS this past week, though. One in particular brought up by Navi JL. If you guys don't know the guy, well, apparently he and his fiance both enjoy the game, to which he was surprised at the online state of maybe some younger kids who play CS and the things that they are willing to say to women whilst playing CS. And here's what he had to say about it, stating that the amount of disgusting people on Faceit is beyond me. Just listen to a few of my fiance's teammates, starting from boosted to kitchen jokes to the W word and all the way to the R word threats, which is actually unbelievable. These effing subhumans should get a separate queue. Grinding solo faces is effing miserable as a female. I can't believe so many people stoop as low as this, and it's normalized. And this is something that's probably not too surprising to people out there who play video games. If you guys don't understand that women have it tough in video games, and it's been apparent for a long time across many titles. We've seen a lot of female streamers talk about this, a lot of female players talk about their online experiences, and it's often met with a quick response of, just get over it.
I'm going into hell.
We are fortunate as dudes, we don't have to deal with a lot of this stuff and the jokes that are said, and especially some of the things that JL said. That's never acceptable. Faceit employees also responding to him saying, hey, like, hit me with names, I'll definitely get them bans. And it certainly is something that has been normalized with younger age groups. But especially, I mean, you guys can name your most toxic games out there. It's an unfortunate occurrence where this is a frequent occurrence in just about every game. When I think about the most toxic games out there right now, I think CS is probably up there. For me personally, in League of Legends, I mean, my God, like even my own friends, they ain't saying that stuff, but they're definitely saying a lot of stuff that gets them chat bans all the time. Every time they text me about it, I'm like, are you a happy person? And if you are, why are you playing League of Legends, you know? And then JL letting other people know, because these kind of posts never go well. It's great to see a pro player speak on behalf of female players out there, because a lot of people don't make this stance. Seth is even saying, not much you can do, honestly. I just tell my girl to mute them and troll them about being the same rank as her. And as we know, everyone has a radiant face.
Christina233 says, Tut.
Oh shit, we got people on us!
I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of compilation videos of once the girl in the lobby, the woman in the lobby starts talking, just the things that come out online. I can only hope that more pro players speak up and then the younger generations realize that, hey, yeah, you don't say these kind of things. There's certainly a line, and what JL has mentioned, it obviously crosses it. Now, for some other people out there, that being FaZe fans, this also might have crossed the line. This past week was the great anniversary of one of the all-time North American events. I shouldn't even say North American event, I should say North American feat of E-League Boston Major, taken by Cloud9, the anniversary of one of the best days of my life, guys. Cloud9 taking it all, to which Tarek said, happy anniversary, my king, at FaZePet. Which is great, but if you guys somehow don't understand the anniversary of this, Cloud9 taking the E-League Boston Major, one of the biggest NA feats of all time in CSGO and Counter-Strike in general, Tarek obviously being on that squad, it was amazing to see. With a lot of responses out there, in case you guys missed the winning moments, or behind the scenes brought to us by DJ Prius, who was in the studio behind the scenes during this point. It's a great time to be a North American fan, okay? We will be back.
Don't worry, I got your squad mates banned.
I am down.
Setting up a respawn beacon.
Crawl in. Crawl in, I'll get you.
And then our last thing, Counter-Strike news for all you guys. Stupid Toucan, who was banned this past week on Twitch. I'm not actually aware of the reason, nor did he respond with that said reason. The reason we're talking about this is young Stu gets banned on Twitch, and well, the replies are about as what you'd expect on the internet. Some people like this, cheating. Stu responded, Blom responded, even Cloud9 responding, and a lot of people getting on this because finally they are stopping all of these pro
Scrappy
players who are
DP
actually
says,
hackers
Anti.
in their free time. It's about time things like this got cracked down on. Good job, Twitch. Hopefully Stewie stays banned. Although, fun fact for you guys, even if you're not CS fans, if you get banned for cheating, blatantly cheating on Twitch, it's a 7-day ban. Because they don't really moderate that stuff. I don't fully blame him, but Stewie's going to be back regardless of what you think, whether or not he's cheating. Till next time, hope you guys all enjoy a bit of a CS recap, Counter-Strike news recap, brought to you by Thunderpig. Till next time, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you back here soon.
Good morning. They say the best part of waking up is some Folgers in your cup. When you kiss your brother on the lips for Christmas or whatever that commercial said to do. For me, the best part of waking up is not going to sleep in the first place. I've been up for over 24 hours now. And it got me thinking, what's the most fun that I've had over the last year or so? And the answer is pretty easy actually. The most fun that I've had recently is playing Dungeons and Dragons with my friends. Growing up, I never got the hype around it, but now, as a nearly 30-year-old man, I truly get it. It's just such a wonderful playground of creativity and adventure and whimsy. So we started playing together a little under a year ago, and it's a big undertaking. It takes a lot of time investment to really start to figure out how it all works. So we had the training wheels on for the longest time, but then we started to go raw and no rubber, got really invested, and even started our own Dungeons & Dragons YouTube show called Skill Check. And the YouTube channel is Skill Check Show. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. We got some prop masters, built a set, and we even started our own Dungeons & Dragons YouTube show for our new campaign. It's called Skill Check Show. It's led by two extraordinary DMs, and it's just been so fucking fun. We have this little animated intro here for it as well for Skill Check. I play that gummy hippo there, Hugh Fructose. I imagine a lot of you watching this probably aren't familiar with Dungeons & Dragons.
Yeah, what the fuck are you
don't be
talking
ashamed,
about?
We weren't either. And now that we've learned, it has opened our third eye. It's like in that episode of SpongeBob where they go in that box with the imagination, and it's like the best time ever. That's Dungeons & Dragons, and our show, Skill Check, is like the purest version of that. Just over-the-top fun. And we recently just wrapped up season 1 of this, and the way that we're doing the seasons is it's different arcs of the campaign. So we just finished our first arc, which was Spaceport, and I thought it'd be fun to celebrate by just doing like this montage of my favorite moments of playing Hugh Fructose. Of course, a lot of this isn't going to make sense out of context of the show, so I highly recommend checking out the episodes if it sounds fun to you. But I still just wanted to put this here for the sake of the memories, because it really did make my 2023 very special, and I'm always looking forward to more as we go even harder in 2024. So here's some highlights from Hugh Fructose, the intergalactic plasmoid GIF hybrid. So a hippo that's pretty much made out of candy and can morph himself around from solid to candy gelatinous form. Hey, I'm Charlie. I'm playing Hugh Fructose. I am a GIF plasmoid hybrid. Well, I'm at the bar right now. I'm getting very chatty with all the patrons. I'm hitting with one of these. And eventually I chew away all the riffraff as I finally eye what I wanted, a drink. I pour it out and I shapeshift myself into a beverage. And I know that this is going to be served to my target.
But before you're able to make any progress, before you're able to attack or interrogate your mark, you are whisked away the sound of a slamming door as you disappear from this place.
Gee whiz, I don't know how I got here, but damn, it sucks. I was in the middle of something. I'm actually pretty upset. Legitimately mad.
Excuse me, there were some boxes that came with him. I don't know that we searched those. That's odd.
Within it are things that you guys have left behind. In the box, what do you bring out?
I pull out the ashes of my mother. She died tragically during childbirth.
So just the raw ash you just grab.
It's more of a. It's
like
more of
rock
a,
candy.
No, it's more of like a goo.
He brings up a good point. Is it burned sugar?
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like like caramel.
I'm gonna walk over to Hugh and I'm gonna be like, just ignore me for a moment, and then I'm going to do my special ability, the study, and I'm gonna take a little bite out of him to study what his like makeup is.
I gotta know now. How exactly do you just walk up and bite Hugh?
It's not really like a bite. It's more like he's just right there. I take a little thing and go. Take a little slurp like it's a straw.
I guess you see him come up and try to get you with a straw.
I was very polite. I was very polite.
That's fine. I welcome it. I'm starting.
I don't know what the fuck this is, but I'm not watching that. You fucking nerd. You're doing improv class. Cool.
But this one is on scratch. Probably do that. Nah, they're scratched, bro. Yeah. Part of them scratched. Look, I'll show you. Get out of case like that?
Well, let me go find that video.
It's not just about having it.
It's
about taking it.
Good mark, bro.
Let's try to get
I've
like
been on this
top
earth for
7 finish,
20
guys.
years, and
I
in that
just
time
lost
I've
30
become an
points,
expert
and that's
at two things. Then only two. The first one, slide feed. The other one,
Scrappy DP says,
you look up Loving
Sidelines
Scam,
look good over
a
there.
lot of videos that come up. And they're not all clickbait. I actually got scammed out of $100,000.
Scrappy
So last
DP
night,
says,
there was a topic
hot
involving
drop
Loving
me.
Scam. My interest
Scrappy
was
DP says,
So I think we
no
witnessed
thanks.
The largest ever attempted scam live on stream, which is a crazy thing to do. So let's get into the context. The first thing we need to find out is the person who is getting scammed. Who's a person I think you'll be familiar with. We've talked about him on this channel before. It's Adin Ross, the biggest kick streamer in the world and one of the biggest streamers in the world. And who did he get scammed by? None other than 21 Savage, the artist.
No one else here?
So there's a team here.
No.
They're just on the backside. Or,
Yeah.
I guess like towards the middle.
Let's just keep up for a minute. You don't know, a lot of rappers have been going on to streams. It's like one of the biggest ways to get seen by fans around the world and speak to them directly. They're huge streamers, right? So Kai has had people like Nicki Minaj on, and recently had 21 Savage on. And they did a bit of gambling, right? Just a couple of guys doing a bit of gambling, nothing wrong with that. They gambled over a game of Madden, and the outcome was Kai losing $300,000 and then doing this viral clip.
Last blood's the thingy I care about. 45 seconds and it's a long shot to the ring.
Well, let's make a move, I guess.
Here's Matt. 300K is a lot. Okay, he is a millionaire, true, but I think he was actually upset about that. So there's a lot of major artists, rappers are going onto these live streamers' streams, and one of the main things that 21 Savage does on these streams is gamble with the people he is streaming with. And he seems to relish it. I think he enjoys gambling, and I think he also enjoys winning, because he filmed the aftermath of Kai's outrage, posted it online. Filming the man while he's down. Dada. Having him say Dada. Well, hey, Kai, look at the props. So you got that. So there's your context, right? And this all led up to a stream that happened last night where 21 Savage went on Adin Ross's stream. This is something that's happened before, and I think Adin, at the outset of it, owed 21 Savage some amount of money. 20K. Nothing major for these guys, but a lot more money is going to be wagered throughout the course of this stream. And so here's the start of it, where they're talking about it.
I heard someone open a box in the center building, the big circle.
There's a new kill leader.
So for context, yeah, they're betting $100,000 on a single game of NBA 2K.
Is
That's what they're doing right now. Which is a
I just went halfway in there and I heard movement, so I
anything
got
about Adin Ross,
There's a
his
pill
come up
over.
came from the 2K scene. He's damn good at the game NBA 2K. 21 Savage is also pretty damn good, but Adin Ross, credit to him, pulled off some pretty good moves. Down 1 point, 8 seconds left. Kicks it out. Hits the dagger.
All right, 100K in his pocket, and it didn't end there. They played another game, Double or Nothing. Aiden won. He's at 200K. Then they played a third game, Double or Nothing, for $400,000. And Aiden was winning by so much that he offered 21 Savage an out.
You owe me 2 games. Yeah.
Quit out right now. That will give you a $150,000 discount. That's a nice thing to do. And so 21 Savage smartly accepted it. And then they moved on to other forms of gambling. Here's where scam comes in.
The best way to ensure that we're not minus 50 points is
21 Savage, Aiden Ross are gambling. 21 Savage owes Aiden Ross like $250,000.
You guys good?
And Aiden Ross, even after giving him that discount of 150K, also said he'd buy 21 Savage's sister a car and her friend a car with the money that he would be winning. Okay, all generally nice, pleasant things. They move over to a game of high card, which is as simple as it sounds. You get a whole deck of cards, you pull one each, whoever gets the higher card wins. I love this game. It's the rawest and purest form of gambling. Unless you cheat. So let's watch the breakdown.
No, he's not going to scam. Trust. I know that.
That's a crazy omen. That's a crazy omen.
I didn't even mean to drop that, honestly.
It's a team right in front of us.
Yeah, opens a fresh deck of bicycle cards.
I just told you the team is right there, and you just went straight to
Here's your birthday present.
He hands them off to somebody in his team.
Taking fire. I'm bleeding out.
That's awesome.
Alright. Here I go.
Just go. Huh?
And then he gets back a deck of cards. And this is where the scam begins. Now, if you're wondering, there is no strategy to this game. You pull a fucking card, the other guy pulls a fucking card, whoever's closer to an ace wins however much you are willing to gamble. And I think they were playing for $1,000 and they upped it at 1.2, $10,000 a card. A lot of money. So why is he inspecting them so deeply? Well, the cards are marked. And we'll get to that in just a moment, but we can kind of tell already at this point that they might be marked. When Aiden looks away, someone from 21 Savage's team points to the card to pick, which he picks. And so that's this game, all right? But how does it get found out? Well, remember, this is all happening live on stream in front of over 100,000 people. That is so many people. There's definitely people there who have marked cards or played with people who have marked cards before who are gambling addicts who know what's going on. And so some people in chat started to pipe up. And by the way, a lot of people are trying to deflect blame for 21 Savage. Saying, look, this is someone from his team doing it. But he was pulling king after ace after jack, all the high and exactly how it was found out in the moment. But look how pushy 21 Savage was to even start playing the game. He was basically saying, hey, let's just say that at the moment where you go from 250K owed to 50K owed, we call it because I want to make sure I buy cars, and I don't want to lose one. They've done a lot of random. Honestly, they went on like Omegle and
oh my god, that worked.
1 to 10K per person. They're crazy people. They're crazy people. Kind of fucking hype. I'm not gonna lie. They're crazy people. So anyway, they take. Well, listen to what 21 Savage says.
Recharging shields.
But I shuffle and I do the spreading.
Repairing.
I'll heal us. Just staying here. I'm not moving out of this bitch.
Basically fucking roll dice. Whoever gets the higher number wins.
3,
playing
2,
high card.
1.
Okay? We're playing high card. Okay, so high card they go. Alright. And then we have the clips of 21 Savage constantly looking down at the cards. And look how confident he is while playing this game.
I got a tower. Let's try to get over here.
Let's go over there.
Not some bullshit, bro.
Ace beats queen. It seems like he's the luckiest man on earth. He pulled 6 face cards in a row, something crazy like that.
Wherever you want to do.
Anyway,
where are we going?
They decide to play dice after Aiden keeps losing, and 21 Savage steps out. As he steps out, somebody from Aiden Ross's team comes up and
go
says,
towards zone, I think.
Cards.
Someone's coming.
30 seconds remain. The ring is near.
Drop it if you're dropping it.
But this one is not a scratch. It's a king. I don't think we do that, bro.
They're coming to you. Drop it if you're dropping it. Oh my god, it's bad.
And
It's
the
bad.
moment you realize it, yeah, he's been getting fucking scammed. Now, if you don't know this,
Didn't he say he had a tower?
All you do is you use your fingernail to indent something, and then the moment you do that, it'll have a mark, right? And so people do that all the time with cards. All the time, exaggeration, but it's something that happens. I'm aware of this.
Just go the other way.
I
The
try
ring
to
here on this
avoid
one.
playing people who do this game, but it's very common. Typically in house games, right? You'll never get away with it at a casino. And so this is when Aiden Ross finds out, and he verifies, and he goes through every damn card in the fucking deck that was swapped out by a member of 21 Savage team, finds out that all of the face cards and aces were marked. All of them. It was clearly a scam the entire time. And during that run, I mean, they gambled on a variety of games, but 21 Savage ran it down from 250 KO to like 120 KO. So he basically earned $130,000. Not all through the high card game, mind you. Some of it was because he was called more good looking on Omegle, but a lot of it was. Right? And then look at the environment of the building after he got caught. Dude, it is tough. It is tough for them.
I can't even get out of this bitch.
You're tripping when I grabbed this thing right there. It was right now.
Dude, I'm sorry. I have to talk because it's so uncomfortable because it's so quiet. This is awkward. This is awkward. Because this is 21 fucking Savage. You just released an album with Drake scamming Aiden Ross out of thousands of dollars when he's worth.
Oh, I'm sorry. My fault.
It's a crazy thing to do. It's a crazy thing to do. It's a crazy thing to do even if you're not rich. But it's just extra levels of crazy when you are that rich, that famous, and also in front of 100,000 people. Now, a lot of people have said, hey, this could be just someone on 21 Savage's team that swapped it out. Sure, could be true. But the fact of the matter is that he did inspect the cards, and he did pull only the cards that were marked, because he only pulled face cards. So it's weird. It's just fucking weird. Anyway, that was the largest ever attempted scam live on stream. Hundreds of thousands of dollars attempted to be scammed from Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross followed up today. He said that 21 Savage paid him out the original $250,000 that he was owed. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'll take the man at his word. And that's where we left off. But I thought it was a fun, interesting story as a man who likes gambling myself, and a man who likes getting scammed. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Subscribe. See you. Have a good one. See you later. See you later. Don't please do not scam me. I am susceptible. Leave me alone. Thank you.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the most cherished cartoons ever made. It's an
Okay.
How to get sued by a billion-dollar company. Step 1, you buy replicas off popular brands via a shipping agent. And step 2, you make money via referral codes off of teaching people how to do the same via TikTok and YouTube. Step 3, you run up and just sucker punch the hornet's nest by returning fake Nike shoes to Nike while documenting it and uploading it to YouTube to then promote your knockoff referral link to make money. Yes, that actually happened. And yes, I'm still baffled at how stupid this story is. But hey, this is C-Daz. He landed on my radar after Nike sued him. It's not every day a billion-dollar company sues a content creator, so I wanted to know everything about this. And little did I know there's a somewhat thriving replica and knockoff community on TikTok and YouTube, where C-Daz is one of the larger creators in this niche. And as I said in the 3-step guide earlier, he taught people how to buy replicas via a shipping agent he has a partnership with, thus making this a career for him. And he would do unboxing videos of these fake Nike shoes and take them to various events to get people's reaction to, again, promote his referral link. And this seemed to be a pretty lucrative gig for him, even though at best case scenario is an extreme gray zone, and worst case scenario for him is just straight up illegal. Now, if you're making a good living from promoting services that can get you fake Nikes, the last thing you would want to do is go into the lion's den with your fake shoes and return them as real on video, then upload it to YouTube for 600,000 people to see. Just to put it into scale here, that is 8 MetLife stadiums. Who would want to commit fraud against a billion-dollar company and have 8 MetLife stadiums worth of people watching every single move you do? I'm so baffled by the stupidity in this, or the arrogance in this. It's one or the other, maybe both. But in my last video on the case, we went into the details of the lawsuit in that video specifically. So now we're going to look into what happened after he was sued and after my last video. So at first, nothing too much, because C-Daz went radio silent after he was sued, which is very understandable. I don't think many of us know the stress of having $1 billion company suing us. But then, he did something so stupid he should have just remained silent. So after taking a month break, he released a video titled, How to Never Get Seized with PandaBuy, Best Methods. And then he promotes his referral link in that video.
Welcome everybody, welcome back to another video in CDAS. Hey, what's up? So listen, last time we talked about the #1 question I got, which was, what's the best PandaBuy spreadsheet, or how do I buy reps, that sort of thing. And all that, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? But one thing I have never covered, and it's like a kind of a part 2 to the first video, is how to not get seized. And if you're super new, if you're unfamiliar with what seizing is, it's basically when you get your package into customs and they juke you. They take your
Again, I can't tell if it's stupidity or arrogance, or maybe desperation to pay for lawyers to fund this case. I don't know. But this dude just doubled down. I get it. Your prefrontal cortex hasn't finished loading yet, but you are not doing yourself any favors here. But hey, let's entertain him for a second. What's a strategy of getting fake Nikes into the US? But first, a quick disclaimer. Don't do this. Absolutely do not do this. This channel does not condone his actions, as they got him sued by Nike. But now that's out of the way.
This one is controversial. The stigma is, if you make it harder to open a box, customs agents won't open it, right? So if they see a box come down, and it obviously looks like it says, if it says a bomb inside, they're gonna look at it, right? But if you were to put stretch film, parcel reinforcement, corner protection, vacuum bag, moisture bag, put all that shit around it, bro, they're not gonna touch that package because it looks like a pain in the ass to open. And if I'm making a minimum wage working at a random customs thing, I'm not gonna go out of my way to take 20 minutes to open up one package. That's the stigma. I can kind of say yes, but that's just my personal opinion. There's no proof behind that.
Right, okay. Bulletproof strategy here. Spend more money on the site that I'm getting a referral link for, because that'll keep you safe.
Evo shield here. Level 2.
Also, his source was Trust Me Bro, so, I don't know. Also, you see the shelf right behind him? That shelf was actually mentioned in the lawsuit because Nike wants all of those shoes because they're all apparently fake, and Nike wants to burn them all. But then at the end of this video, he also promotes a 100% discount code for his shipping. So I can only imagine the reaction of the Nike lawyers here. But then, a little over a week went by, and then he finally addressed being sued.
Well, yeah, another one of these videos, huh? Let's just address the elephant in the room. Obviously, there has been some sort of talk and some sort of filing about some sort of lawsuit and all this. It's been a lot of hate. There's been a lot of people just messaging me basically saying they want me to get in a jail cell, which, if that's your opinion, I respect that's your opinion. I just wanted to address it and talk about, if I'm actually going to keep going and keep doing what I'm doing right now. And I wish I was being advised to, really go over it because, as much as I do want to make a video, the whole thing and just go through every single point, I'm being told not to. Because there is a lot in there that I don't necessarily think is true. Because I feel like a lot of you guys know me. And even if you don't know me, I'm not a millionaire. I don't have an expensive lifestyle. I don't have an expensive taste. I'm a man of simple things. I like my Starbucks. I like taking care of my cat. That's about it. I pay my editors. That's it.
How are you saying you don't have an expensive taste when your entire channel is about buying fake expensive items? There's no shame in enjoying some expensive stuff, but let's keep it real. And speaking of, this shelf with all the shoes are still there. But I'm really interested in what he claims isn't true, because I thought Nike's lawyers did a very good job at laying out their case.
I was going to try and pull it up, but after looking, I'm pretty sure that maybe the lawsuit's a bit more of a drowned out topic, but there are a couple people asking me, why do I actually keep going? And I'm not living lavish, alright? I'm 22 years old. I'm 22, bro. I can't even grow a full beard yet. Alright, give me a couple years, maybe I can get to that point. Maybe I can make up millions of dollars, but right now I'm the little guy.
I'm the fall guy.
The reason I make content is because this has always been my dream. Anyone who knows me, anyone who has known me knows that for the longest time I've always wanted to be a YouTuber.
Well, dude, pick a niche that's not one massive gray zone at best. I relate to him, hence why I've been uploading to this channel consistently since 2013. I posted a whole lot of garbage videos before they got half decent. Well, let's keep it real. He picked a terrible niche, because there's so much risk involved making his content. And while, yes, he's being sued by Nike, what about all the other brands that he buys fake stuff of and teaches people how to buy fake stuff of? So, the Louis Vuitton, the Rolex, the Off-White, and so on and so on, whose bottom line is probably being hurt by fakes. Not like these companies are actually struggling, but he's a very easy target for them to shut down rather than going to the factories that are overseas. Because let's be real, one can only assume that these brands hate some smug kid bragging about how he gets all the cool designer stuff for a fraction of the price.
And I saw all of this as an out where you can actually express yourself and wear what you want to wear without breaking your bank, and you can have other hobbies. I'm into cars, skateboarding, fashion, gaming, and I can actually put money in good places instead of a pair of shoes, which I'll wear one time. It's realistically, if I spend all my money on a pair of shoes, I'm never gonna wear them because I'm not gonna want to up. And I never wanted to gatekeep that. Like, this hoodie's around $50. Like, it's $50. So don't think I'm rich. Don't think I'm sure, oh, look at me, the YouTuber with the $2,000 hoodie. Like, no, it's $50. I don't care. I want to be real with you guys so that you guys can dress how you want to dress. You're not getting lied to.
If you don't care, why are you buying a fake Balenciaga hoodie? Also, F Balenciaga after that one campaign. All my homies hate Balenciaga.
When the time is right, I'm sure I will make a video kind of explaining the entire thing, unless I have to sign like an NDA or something, but hopefully I'll try to at least make a video before that happens so that I can post it and explain everything to you guys prior to never being able to speak about it ever again. I'm not going to sit here and act like hate comments ever get to me. I really don't care. But it just sucks that like it's only one side. You know, whatever they said is what people are taking as facts, when that's not the point. The point of a lawsuit is to determine the facts. The years and years it takes for a lawsuit to actually go to court, it is for that reason, to figure out what's actually the facts and what's just like an assumption or not real or didn't actually happen. And of course, because this is bigger than me in my community, it went to the actual, you know, just sneakerheads and people who hate replicas, so they dragged me through the mud, and that's cool, man. If that's you, that's you.
What's good? I don't know if announcing to make a video before the NDA is a good idea. To be fair, it's not like anything else on his channel has been a good idea, but I'm definitely interested in his side of the story because it's a big lawsuit alleging a lot against this guy. Not only the video of him returning the fake Nikes to Nike, but if you're interested in the full lawsuit, you can check it out right here because I go through the entire thing here. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Now, if you woke up today and decided you want to have a lesson on how not to run a business, you've came to the right place. Because today we're going to be talking about a business that had the biggest opportunity they could have possibly ever asked for and completely messed it up. It's a food company.
How'd I get into it, bitch?
We're talking about Keith Lee. Keith Lee being a TikToker with 15.8 million followers on TikTok, he's probably one of the most influential people on the app. He goes around America and taste tests a bunch of restaurants and tells us honest opinions, and people trust his opinions because he is honest. He can't be persuaded by free food and whatnot. He actually usually gets someone else to go in and order the food so they don't know it's Keith Lee ordering. Like, he tries to make it as honest as possible, and when he does give a really good glowing review, it helps a business massively. We've seen it a million times now. He'll go to a small business, he'll try the food, say it's incredible, and then there'll be videos all over TikTok showing how busy the restaurant is. It's been on the news, it's been all over TikTok. Like, he can really change people's lives doing these videos, and it's incredible to see most of the time. Now, unfortunately, with this being the case, it was always quite likely that he would maybe help out the wrong person. And it seems like he's done that. But let's start from the beginning. When Keith Lee did a taste test at Sweetly Seasoned.
Keith Lee is officially in Dallas. So I asked her for help and come to visit my mom's food truck. Another beautiful piece. She is an award-winning pastry chef. She is a culinary chef. She has 2 degrees. We are just from Milwaukee, and here in Dallas, it's kind of hard with the marketing because we don't know our way to get around it.
Like, already, this was such a good opportunity, right? Because this guy, who is the son of the person who owns the food shop, he makes a video saying, Keith Lee's in Dallas, it would be great if he showed up, like, my mum really deserves this. And Keith Lee did it. And just to put in perspective, this video got 6 million views. And spoiler alert, it is a very good review. And this is 6 million people who now think that Sweet Seasoned is unreal.
The customer service my family said was pretty good. And it was alive the whole time, so we can kind of see it. Only thing is, the only person cooking is the mama. So if you do come, please be patient. It's only one person there cooking.
I mean, he already knows how this is going to go, in the sense that he knows he's going to upload this video and loads of people are going to show up. And he's even saying here, like, be patient with it. It's just one woman making the food. He's trying to make this experience as good as possible for the woman who owns the food shop.
Sandwich, fried ribs with french fries, 3 chicken tacos with beans and rice, and 2 orders of banana.
10 seconds, the ring's just ahead.
In my opinion, no. But considering the fact that it's been slow and she has already affected this is a food
are going to show up. And he's even saying here, like, be patient with it. It's just one woman making the food. He's trying to make this experience as good as possible for the woman who wants the food shop.
Listen up, I'm calling a lifeline package in.
Listen up, fellas. The ring's moving and we're on the wrong side of it.
But considering the fact that it's been slow and she has already affected this in the food truck and everything
I mean, he couldn't be nice if he tried.
$80? No. $8?
This is
No.
one woman who's doing it. She's been struggling recently, like, I understand. I just can't believe she's fallen with it this bad.
25 to 50? Okay.
Got a mobile respawn beacon in your back pocket.
It's just really good seasoned pulled pork with pickles and barbecue sauce.
Okay, right, I'm not going to show the full review. He likes the food, but it's the ending that's very important here.
Before we left, we went and had a conversation with him, and we thanked everybody for seeing him on the paper, and we left $4,000 tip on us. Status nigga.
After y'all get that hit, you okay? You want to leave the house out of the car.
was going to make a grid, $2,000 for the women running the truck. Instead of them, obviously, like this person's video, which is going to make pretty much a but this is what's going on, because the woman who was running this truck, instead of actually splitting the money how Keith Lee wanted to be split, decided to take the full thing. Because the way Keith Lee did it was pay one payment, right, through the card machine, and then would hope that the woman would split the money how he asked. Well, yeah, she never did that, and in fact, the sister of the barber who was supposed to get $1,000 ended up making a video exposing all of it. Also, it's worth noting that before we get into this, I'm pretty sure that Cheryl here, who was on watch, also works at this place. So she's not only the sister of the barber, she works at this truck. Oh, worked, I guess.
A lot of y'all was on my live.
Replicator on its
when you
way.
said this.
I see y'all getting on everything.
Healing, give me a sec. Here comes the old knuckle cluster. They're shooting at me. No, truth, I'm down.
And really, everything was cool, right? I charged him $4,000 on his car, meaning all the money went to the food truck in hopes that she would do what she needed to do, right? Wrong. So after everything had died down, mind you, on top of him tipping $4,000, this man left an extra $886 to feed everybody else that was coming, right? Right. But this is where she went wrong. I'm in the truck, mind you. I'm at work. This is your business, so I'm doing what you say. She tell me that this person was the third person that she got to start charging.
I mean, just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Keith Lee, on top of the $4,000, actually left an extra $800 to pay for other people's food. So the next $800 worth of orders should be free. But apparently after the third order, Cheryl was told that she had to start charging people again. I mean, again, how have you followed it this badly? Because the response to this shouldn't be surprising, right? People are boycotting Sweet Season just as fast as they decided that they actually wanted to go there in the first place. And it could have been a massive opportunity, and it just isn't anymore.
She called me. She was just like, well, I didn't invite your brother to come out here and cut hair. I didn't invite you. My son invited you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give $1,000 to my son, and he'll give y'all whatever it is he said out of it.
Wow, that is awful, isn't it? So basically, the owner of this truck is saying that she's not going to split the money.
Rogue_Mondo_42 says, crap.
I can't get to a crap without dying. That.
Right, sorry, my camera's died, so I'm having my hold. Hopefully the quality's okay.
Rogue_Mondo_42 says, what exactly are you doing?
I don't know, you're dead, bro. You figure it out.
42 says, bruh.
Keith Lee don't know my brother. My brother don't know Keith Lee. My brother don't know any of y'all out here. But when you gave him the green light to post his flyer, after he cut both of your son's heads, yes, they paid. He wasn't cutting nobody's hair for free.
Yeah, so I think the one who runs the food truck's excuse for not giving the person cutting the hair any money was because Keith Lee said he could have the money to give out free haircuts. But her excuse was that he wasn't already giving out free haircuts. Which makes zero sense. Of course he was charging people before he was given any money. I think we can actually see her reply to the comment here exactly what her thought process is. And she says, the only person who's a part of this business is my son, and he will be paid. What he has going with his friends has nothing to do with me or my business. Thank you for your support. Alright, so I think Cheryl doesn't work at this food truck. She was helping out for the day because of what was happening. Maybe. That's what I'm getting from this. I mean, yeah, it really doesn't matter who was part of what. Keith Lee said pretty clearly where the money was supposed to go to, and you refused to do that, and you took the money for yourself. That is awful behaviour. Now, Keith Lee, 8 hours ago as recording this, has made a response video to everything going on, and this is what he had to say.
Number one, nobody had any idea we was coming. They found out we was in Dallas like everybody else found out we was in Dallas, because we was posting videos in Dallas. So in hopes of us coming, they had t-shirts made and they was on live all day. So me and my family wasn't in cahoots with none of this. We was all under the impression that they were a team, and this was a normal routine for them. The barber being there, the braider being there, family being there, a lot of people being there. This is our first time here. We are accustomed, so we have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. Number two, I was never under the impression that haircuts was free. Again, my family was watching live. We knew that he was cutting hair for $40. So when we walked up and I said I want to give $1,000 to the barber to do free haircuts, and $1,000 to the braider to braid hair, it was because of the original video the son said it was flowing through the market.
Yeah, that whole excuse never made sense to me. Like, her saying, oh, I'm not giving him money because he wasn't giving out the free haircuts to start with, makes zero sense. In actual reality, she just wanted to keep the money, right? She got greedy and she had to come up with an excuse, and this is what she came up with.
And the reason why I didn't pay everybody individually, international opportunity was offering the world exclusively on that for $5 million. Then at 5 units, 30 to 40 people pulled up. They was putting up control. That part of the community fast. And for me and my family's safety in general, I don't never carry cash around. And 9 times out of 10, if we tip, we always do it through the POS.
I mean, yeah, the way he paid, there's no problem, right? Because he assumed everyone was a team. It came across like that. And they kind of were a team, regardless of what you think. Because if Cheryl's set up the food truck, the brother's doing the haircuts as well. That's a good reason why people want to be there. Like, it creates a good environment. So, of course, when he does one payment, he's going to expect you to split it the way he requested it be. And if you really want a team and you really thought that
Reckon we ought to land over there, dears. Enough landing around. We drop it.
Well, you did it because you knew quite well you wanted to keep the money for yourself. You could have said, look, they're not part of my team. I was happy to what you want to give me, but you may want to speak to them separately because we're not like that. Whatever way you want to say it. But you know, she kept quiet. She heard $4,000 and didn't hear anything else. Didn't hear the way that it should be split and decided to keep it all.
That's not it's a scientist for sure. After I said out loud, detail where we think the money we can use for this. I also said y'all can figure it out how y'all feel necessary. Meaning, after the more detail of the POS, so they don't hit the same day. Y'all can send out through Apple Pay, through Zelle, through Cash App, through check, through cash. However, y'all feel necessary to spread it around the team. I thought and I still think that that's a very clear statement. That is being misconstrued, in my opinion, intentionally misconstrued. That I see it in the mom and son to say who get the money and who don't get the money.
1 minute. Rings nearby.
So Keely did tip her to the money. How she felt that's.
I never said
it. I mean, that was a funny little cut there, too. Yeah, we are a person of basis, by the way. But now that is very strange behaviour. He's took it completely out of context. He's really saying, look, you can split it up however you want to. Meaning, you can split it up through, like, Cash App or PayPal or Cap, saying, how do I do it? He never said give as much as you want to each person. He quite literally said, give $1,000 to this person, $5 to this person, you can have 2,000.
So for the mom on the back, disregard my heart and what I felt like I was doing that moment, distributing the money I should felt necessary is 100% wrong in my opinion. I see the memes and I see the jokes, but I am not in the business of shutting businesses down. Her actions did not sit right with y'all and her customer base. That resulted in the situation that she ended. We just ate the food and left the tip. In advance, everybody in the situation stays safe.
Yeah, so as respectful as ever, when realistically some people maybe don't deserve as much respect as others, but I mean that's a response from Keith Lee, and apparently Sweeney Season is like permanently closed now. Yeah, so here's the screenshots going around. Sweeney Season food, trailer, and catering. And it says that it's permanently closed on Google. I've seen a lot of other people. Seen the reviews, that's not so great, is it? But I've seen a lot of people saying that they've just rebranded to a different name, so maybe that's probably quite smart at this point, because like, people are just like leaving bad reviews left, right, and centre. After you have to do the comments, if you choose the name to All-in-One Catering LLC, I highly doubt you'd permanently close the whole business because of this, but I mean, it could have been such a big opportunity, and she really has ruined it for herself, which is a big shame. Like, it could have been something massive. At the end of the day, that $4,000 could have been so little compared to what she could have earned through this promotion from Keith Lee. Yeah, it's now still stopping. It's a big shame for her. But either way, I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below. And that's all about today's video. If you did enjoy, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you are new. And until the next one, I'll see you guys later. Alright, goodbye.
The year is 2024, and we're doing a new AM4 CPU. We thought they were done with the 5700 XD last year, but they're not. So there's a 5700 XD we're looking at today. This is like a slower 5800 XD, basically. Easiest way to think about it, it's a $250 part. The 58 XD is a little more expensive. It's like $315 or so. So it's just cheaper, lower frequency 5800 XD. And this is alongside a couple AM4 parts that AMD is making for 2024. Probably this is the actual last time they're launching any. We thought that last time too, we were proven to be wrong. Okay, so the current CPU pricing landscape looks like this. The R7 5700 XD is again $250 or so on Newegg. The 5800 XD is $308 to $315, depending on if you're looking at Newegg or Amazon. Newegg notes, quote, free DDR4. We're not really counting that today as value because we're not sure how long it'll last.
Queenstar says, WTF.
I don't know, you guys ran way ahead of me and got into a fight without me, and then... Oh, what do you think? Where did you think I was running to? That's how long it took me to get to you. You mean I should have just magically left with you without you guys communicating until now? This is the first time I'm hearing your voice?
System is for...
Oh, really? Cool.
Like, there's people knocked and dead and you're looting still.
What's your gun for? What's your gun for?
where we lift catastrophic.
What the fuck do you mean? You had a gun. How did you?
I'm asking you, what's your gun for? You're telling me what the ping system is for. What's your gun for?
To
kill people?
Right.
There you go. There you go. Keep yourself alive. Kill people and keep yourself alive. Don't fucking worry about what I'm doing. Holy
What are
shit.
you doing? You're not even fucking playing. You're ratting. Like, you're being stupid as fuck. Like,
Or I could be dead like you. That's a very smart play, isn't it?
we wouldn't have been dead if our team.
It's my fault. Yeah, okay. Okay, yep. And so you weren't aware that I was doing that? What is that your comeback? Oh my god. Why?
Brand new builds though. And for brand new builds, it has lost some viability to new platforms. The main reason for that is simply because
I don't need to be sexually harassed on here by a woman.
And if you want to, like, you're not going to
talking
try and
about
get something cheap from
vaginas.
Facebook
Jesus
Marketplace,
Christ.
then AM5 gives you the same forward-looking upgradability that existing AM4 owners are benefiting from today with this launch. So for brand new builds, a little bit of a different story where it really is worth some extremely careful consideration of building on new platforms, because you will get marooned on AM4 if you buy into it. There's still reasons to buy into it. We'll talk about that later. But this is particularly interesting for existing AM4 owners. For that reason, a lot of these charts have things like 2600, 2700X, 3600. I think 5600X makes some appearances. So there's a lot of older parts. Not every chart contains the same CPUs, so you skim through them and see if the one you're on is there, and then you can start figuring out how best to it would be for you in the X3D class. Okay, the specs will help us understand where to look for performance differences. They are both 8-core 16-thread parts. They both have 96 megabytes of L3 cache. TDP is 105 watts on both, so they're mostly the same here. The clock is where it's different. The 5700 SVD has a maximum 4.1 GHz advertised boost clock and 3.0 for base. The 5800 XVD is at 4.5 and 3.4 for base. This is a huge swing in frequency, and it's where most of the differences will manifest. However, it's possible the equalized and high cache will still give the 5700 XVD an advantage in some gaming scenarios over otherwise would be direct price competitors to it, but not over the 5800 XP. That's always going to be better, but that's just because the cache can help make up for things in some applications. Depends on what you're looking at. We've seen games where it's significantly more useful than in certain applications, like production workloads. So production testing today will be extremely short. We have Blender, code compile, and compression and decompression for file workloads. However, the focus is really not there. It's going to be on gaming. That's because X3D CPUs, generally speaking, for the production tests that we run at least, they don't tend to show up particularly strong benefit from that additional cache. There are workloads where it probably would show up that are non-gaming, but they're not in any of our current test suite. So what that means is a 5700X 3D is going to be worse than a 5800X non-3D. Just like the 5800X 3D is normally worse than the non-3D or very close to it. So it's very rare that in our production testing the extra cache actually matters, and so that's where we're going to focus on the gaming perspective today. All right, as for why these exist, just to be curious, we think it's related to the same answer as the 5600X 3D, which is a Micro Center exclusive launch. So it is likely, since the 5800X 3D has remained a successful seller, it's still in the market, people are still buying it. It's likely that the only reason we would make a cheaper version of that as AMD at this point in AM4's life cycle is if you're still sitting on a bunch of silicon that doesn't quite clear the specification requirements to hit that, say, 4.5 gigahertz advertised boost clock and the higher base clock. And so one option would be to basically do a down bin, a lower spec, where you get most of the way there, still has the extra cache on it, and that's how the 5700X might be born. It's also possible that they're, just from a marketing perspective, trying to breathe some additional life into one last push to try and purge the market of all of these AM4 chips that are still out there, including the 5800X3. Now they get another kind of marketing round behind it. So either one, but we think it's likely that there is some amount of supply that just couldn't hit the original spec for the 58X3D, and hence we have the 57. And regardless, exists, doesn't really matter why, we're testing it. I'm going to tell you if it's worth it or not. So we'll start with the summary charts to get you a rapid recap of all of the data as quickly as possible. And this is going to primarily focus on the 57 versus 58X3D, just to establish the baseline. So probably a lot of you are familiar with the 5800X3D's performance in general. I'm just going to give you the quick percent differences
and new buyers likely will be choosing between these two as well, especially people who are still on AM4. Alright, let's look at some charts. Here's a simplified summary chart of the 5700 X2D versus the 5800 X2D. This chart shows percent change in the direction of improvement. For time-based benchmarks, we're showing the time reduction as a percent improvement here. That's because less time is better. It's improvement. Overall, in gaming especially, the change generally hovers around the 6 to 10% range, call it about 6 to 8% on average. Some of the lower figures, like F1 at 1440p, are capped by other components. Starfield remains CPU bound though. It just shows less scaling than other titles between these two, likely due to less reliance on pure frequency. Larger games appear in games where the frequency is more relevant, with Final Fantasy being a great example of that. This chart is the relative value comparison. Our recent 4080 CPU review goes into some of the thought process and methodology behind these. It contained a huge discussion of this style of chart. The short version is that we have a lot of reservations about these. There are limitations to their usefulness. Plus, they abstract away from the nuance. For a head-to-head, they start to make sense, and the audience has really shown that you all want them. A number towards the left is indicating a reduction in the amount of money you're spending for the FPS you're getting with the 5700 X2D as compared to the 5800 X2D. Larger reductions are better for value. Boiling it all down, the relative huge cost reduction of the 57 X2D, despite slightly lower performance, allows for a significant benefit in value. We're seeing a range of 10 to 17% reduction in USD per FPS against the 58 X3D. We're still experimenting with these charts. We'll be changing the style constantly as we seek discovery of something that we feel represents the whole picture, and we make no claims as to it being perfect, and in fact we don't think it is, but it gives you a pretty good quick snapshot. Our full performance charts give the fuller picture, so let's get into some of those. We'll quickly look at frequency validation of the two parts. Our recent 8000 Series AB reviews proved exactly why these are necessary as part of the reviews process to ensure companies' components are running properly. Here's an all-4 frequency chart of the 5700 X2D and 5800 X2D using Blender on all threads.
I'm going to wrap to the end of this.
The 4 GHz
my points.
Steady for the duration of the test. It's expected behavior that these CPUs won't hit peak fuse box in all 4 workloads. The 5800 X2D ran 300 MHz faster here at 4300 for the test station. That'll be the main reason for performance differences between them. In single-threaded workloads, the maximum frequency we've measured here of any given core for the 5700 X2D was that's about 50 MHz over advertised. The 5800 X2D was about 4450 MHz. Stellaris is up now. This test looks at simulation time rather than frame rate, so the differences in real-world time and definitely feels noticeable when waiting for longer simulation processing. This is one of the tests that you might notice more than frame rate in a lot of situations. The R7 5700 X3D completed simulation in 36.4 seconds on average, and that's against the 58 X3D's 33.5 seconds. The result is an 8% time reduction favoring the 5800 X3D here, which aligns with the frequency advantage. This game tends to favor higher frequencies more than some other games, and we're seeing that here. Considering the 20 to 21% price reduction against Newegg's current $315 pricing, and ignoring the free DDR4 promo for the 58 X2D since we doubt that'll last, that's not a bad trade-off. This is actually good value in relation to the 5800 X2D, which itself has historically been good value. If you went AM5 instead, the 7800 X2D gives some perspective on the potential ceiling. At 29 seconds, the time reduction against the 5800 X2D is 13% in this test, and 20% against the 5700 X2D. The 14600K completes the simulation in 16% less time than the 5700 X3D. So Intel's 14600K can definitely compete in some of these titles, but the pricing is different. We also have some older parts present. You can pause here if you'd like to look at them longer. The 2600, the 2700, the 3600, and the 3700X all make it here. So that may be useful if you want to do an in-socket update. Our Starfield results are pretty barren because the game just got a massive update. Generally speaking, we don't have a chart for this, but we did plot it, and we saw about a 30% change in performance between the prior game versions we were testing and the brand new game version that just came out. So we've wiped the data, and all the data on the upcoming chart is brand new as a result, and the results are sparse but still useful. The 5800 X2D roughly equated the 5700
Only I knew how to use that gun.
As well from the 14900K and the 7800 X2D, there's definitely CPU scaling headroom, so we're not limited on the prior generation X3D CPUs by other components. It's the CPUs specifically that are limiting us. The similarity in performance relates back to a reduction in frequency dependency in this game, at least with these updates. And given the equivalence of core specs for the CPUs, The difference is only a 3% lead for the 5800X3D. As for the 14600K, that leads the 5700X3D by about 14%, or 11% over the 5800X3D. At 1080p high, the 14900K and 7800X3D become constrained by GPU requirements, despite the 4090. The 5800X3D is about a 3% better performance than the 5700X3D, and neither of them hits the GPU ceiling. The 14600K maintains a 15% lead over the new R7 5700X3D CPU. Final Fantasy XIV is up now, and Final Fantasy at 1080p, the 5800X3D ran at 218 FPS average, leading the 5700X3D by 11%. The 7800X3D gets bound up, and this is due to something we've discussed in the past with this specific benchmark and approach, which is that there's a GPU driver overhead limitation in this particular game, where there are differences that emerge between Intel and AMD when handling NVIDIA GPUs specifically. In F1 2023 at 1080p, we don't have that problem. The R7 5700X3D ran at 410 FPS average, establishing about a 40 FPS gap between it and the R7 5800X3D. However, that 40 FPS gap amounts to about 10% advantage for the 5800X3D here. The 7800X3D on AM5 leads by 24%, and the 5700X3D ends up surrounded by some of Intel's newer parts, with the 14900K and the 14700K flanking. It outperforms the 14600K meaningfully while being cheaper at the time of writing, again at $250 to $300 between the two. At 1440p, the top results get truncated due to the resolution increase. This is expected behavior. The 5800X3D now ties with the 7800X3D, with both being limited by other elements of the platform and by the increase in GPU workload. The 5700X3D doesn't reach the same heights, but closes the gap 3% as a result of external limitations. This is a good reminder that scenarios not exclusively bound on the CPU will show limited scaling between the high end. Shadow of the Tomb Raider at 1080p, the 5700X3D landed at 301 FPS average, allowing the 5800X3D about a 9% lead. That's in line with some of the prior results. So the 50 FPS average, with the 14900K trailing the 5700X3D and the 5800X3D CPUs here. The cache is benefiting them in this game. Baldur's Gate 3 has also received multiple massive patches since our October data set, and we're really happy.
Well, I felt like I was pretty good in that. What was my 510 bitches? I'd take me until I didn't do nothing. No. Tell me that, hoe. Little girl tried to tell me I was doing nothing. Ran away from me, got yourself bumped.
Hey, what's up guys? Phil's2Cents here, and today we're going to be checking out AMD's latest Radeon Adrenalin driver, 24.1.1. And it comes with AMD's driver level integration of frame generation technology, also known as AMD Fluid Motion Frames. So yeah, today I'm going to be showing you how to enable it in the driver, how it's going to be performing with our 6700 XT. I decided to pick a mid-range-ish card from the last generation just to see how adding frame generation tech to an older mid-range card would affect this performance. And then we're going to talk about its quirks and features, I guess, like a Doug Nero video, because there's a few caveats to know and learn about AMD Fluid Motion Frames. So let's get right into it, after pay some bills. We interrupt this video to bring you a special message from iFixit. No, we interrupt this interruption with this interruption about new stuff from iFixit. We should interrupt this card, but inventory sucks. Fix the inventory problems with iFixit. Whoa, don't drop it. Can't fix that with iFixit. Thinking yes you can. Wish you could take iFixit with you anywhere, but your pockets aren't big enough? Introducing you to More. And the new Minnow. Take them with you anywhere. Get iFixit for your loved one, or just get them for yourself. This is our 2021 Radeon RX 6700 XT. Sorry, I had to make the Doug Nero joke. This is the card that I'm going to be using for testing, but it does support for desktops all 6000 and 7000 series AMD GPUs. As far as mobile goes, they do say that they support the 700M series laptop GPUs as well as the 7040 series, which I think the most popular ones is 7840U. Those also include a 700 series GPU for mobile. Now, technically, handhelds with the Z1, including the Ally and the Legion Go, do support the driver if you manually install the driver for the Radeon 780M. I can report that, yeah, it works totally fine on my Ally, but again, it's not as plug and play as a desktop graphics card where you're already going to be updating the driver. So there's a few asterisks on the handheld side of things, but a quick YouTube search will show you a tutorial on how to install the driver manual. Okay, so how do you enable AMD Fluid Motion frames? First, you want to make sure that you're on driver version 24.1.1. That is the latest one that they just released that includes AFMF. You'll know you're on the right driver because when you go to the hotkeys page, you'll see a hotkey for toggling AMD Fluid Motion frames. Another useful toggle is to keep the Radeon Performance Overlay enabled. Third-party apps will not show you the correct FPS once you enable AFMF because since it's happening on the driver level after the game has already processed the frames, things like MSI Afterburner or UGA Precision, other things that give you an OSD or a sensor panel, that sort of stuff, they won't be reporting the correct frame. The control panel also lets you toggle it on in more of a permanent fashion for a specific game. So once you're done with your tweaking and you found out that you like AFMF enabled in whatever game, say Cyberpunk, like that, you can also go into the control panel, enable it for that game, and it'll always be on without you having to toggle it on. We're running Cyberpunk 2077 in ray tracing medium settings. I wanted to give the 6700 XT a pretty decent mode, but I didn't want it to be sub 60-ish FPS. That's one of the first kind of quirks about this. If your game is already rendering less than 60 FPS, frame generation is probably not going to help it as much. It's mostly for getting games that are running in like the 60 to 90 range to feel a lot closer to your monitors, 120 or 140 hertz. You can bump it up a little bit more there so that it visually looks. Latency starts to be a little bit of a weird, like it feels a little weird. Some people can handle more latency than others. But yeah, around 60 or lower FPS if you do need a frame gen of any type, even on a NVIDIA card with DLSS 3 frame gen, the latency is going to be, in these slower shots you can see the amount of latency when the mouse compared to when the screen actually reacts. With frame gen on AMD has decided to automatically disable frame gen if a large visual change is detected. Basically, if you whip the mouse and do a 180 real quick, for those frames in which the character, the camera, or whatever is turning 180 degrees, frame gen will actually disable itself because the visual change is too large. And so what that leads to is a little bit of unexpected behavior, because the times in which you are moving your mouse very quickly and precisely are the times in which you would also notice visually